And
like
Alien Crush
do
for
the game like
an
5
hour
times,
after
right?
that.
Yeah.
No, actually, I'm not good at Gunstar Heroes, but I like the fact that you can because Gunstar Heroes, of course, unlimited continues,
Right.
and the Wii will save your spot in the game. So right now it's just saved the last level, so I can keep trying
over and over again,
over and over and over.
Yep. Alien Crush, I was surprised at how much I like it because usually video pinball not that good, but Alien Crush for some reason it's like I don't know. You put those alien freaky designs in there and it becomes more interesting than just Mario running around.
Yeah, that's pretty much the appeal, I think, because the physics are not fantastic. Video pinball has been done much better in terms of
but it's just fun.
Oh, totally.
It's fun.
Absolutely.
There's like little xenomorph heads, and you're smacking them with a silver ball.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
This is Ellen Ripley, last survivor of the Nostromo, signing off.
I totally got 11 million on that last night.
Wow, way to go.
Yeah, thanks.
And then outside of America, Donkey Kong Country is available in Japan and the UK.
Suckers.
And I can't really recommend that download. But R-Type for TurboGrafx is available in Japan now, and I downloaded that on our import Wii, and it's good.
The news...
It's much better than the Master System version of R-Type, which I remember as a kid and loving, but it's not so good now. But the TG16, hot.
Speaking of TG16, the news is that next week, Military Madness is the game.
Nectaris. I thought it was Newtopia. That's what some people were saying.
Some people are wrong.
Yeah, Newtopia I hadn't heard about. Nectaris I had.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually Nectaris is supposed to be... What's that?
I'm waiting for Dungeon Explorer.
We've got that on the import Wii if you really want to play it.
I did actually yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
I
just made it worse.
Do you really like it?
I do, yeah.
What is it about the game that I'm missing? Because I tried playing it and I was like...
well, it's just, I liked Gauntlet too, and it's just a decent Gauntlet clone with, some good music too. Good old synthetastic 16-bit music. Yeah, so
that's pretty good.
That's about it.
I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Haven't they've announced that, though, for like this year
yeah, they
for
have.
the US, so it'll be...
I'm just like sitting here.
Right. Maybe it'll be one of the Christmas surprise releases.
Possibly. The December surprise.
Well, they're doing, Toe Jam and Earl, I think, is on Christmas. And then, so I'm guessing they're skipping their little Monday thing to have a little Christmas release thing. Unless Christmas
is on Monday.
Oh, well.
There you go. It's all glorious for us. You know for a fact that it's on Christmas.
Yeah. Sega has a list of their dates.
Oh.
Yeah.
Boy, if only Nintendo would do that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, but that's probably the strongest week the Virtual Console has had since launch.
Yeah,
it's nice that the games are actually worth playing.
And it has absolutely nothing to do with Nintendo's own games.
No, it doesn't. No. Ice hockey is the worst of the lot.
Yep.
That's pretty bad. But, it's still a much better week regardless than Xbox Live Arcade had, because where are the classics on that? Not this week.
Nowhere.
It's been a month. And PSP downloads, still nothing.
No.
Although Final Fantasy Tactics on PSP, I asked for it last week with a new translation. Today they announced Final Fantasy Tactics on PSP as a new UMD game with bonus content.
Yep.
It'll come to America and they'll retranslate it. So, it's more expensive this way, but I think I actually said I would be willing to pay 3 or 4 times as much for a retranslated version.
And you will.
So basically, this is proof to
5
me
or 6
that
times as much.
Square Enix listens to Retronauts.
Yes.
And they take us seriously. So, guys, that's Seiken Densetsu 3 we were asking for.
Yes. Rocket Slime on the Wii.
Yeah, Rocket Slime on the Wii. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. It's not in the U.S.
Damn it.
But Final Fantasy Tactics, I'm not sure what I think about the 3D cinematics, because I really liked the charm.
Yeah. Were they
the
3D?
original...
I thought they were...
Have you seen the scans?
I saw scans with a...
There's like a 3D cel-shaded cinematic. It has like Ramza and Delita talking, and then another one.
I thought that was 2D.
No, it's 3D cel-shaded.
Huh.
It looks really good, but I don't know if I'm going to like it as much as the charming 2D sprites. They were just so well done.
Yeah, a lot of the cutscenes don't even really lend themselves well to like fading out to FMV, really.
Rats! Yeah, that's about...
yeah.
It's mostly like guys standing around in a building talking about conspiracies.
Yeah. So hopefully there'll be few far in between. So.
But I don't know. Maybe they'll get some of those crazy Vagrant Story angles in there. So everything is dynamic and interesting. Speaking of which, a Vagrant Story remake would be pretty hot too.
Yeah. They're listening.
Yeah.
Next week.
You guys, don't forget the Vagrant Story remake. Just for me. There's also Final Fantasy Tactics A2, which I guess is going to be on DS.
Yeah. I mean, what it seems to me is that they're calling it A2 because they can't call it Advanced 2 because it's not on the Game Boy Advance. Right, but it's a sequel to Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, so A2.
But I really hope it follows more in the footsteps of Final Fantasy Tactics than Tactics Advance. Because Advance was not all that, in my opinion.
I'm not too hopeful, unfortunately.
Ouch.
Yeah.
And all we know is the
Square
title.
Enix? Yeah. Raise dissing you.
That's what you've done to this poor boy. All he has to do is hear the title of a game, and he's like, it's not going to be
hard as callous.
It's because Matsuno's not around.
Oh, yeah, true.
Maybe they'll bring back Matsuno someday. Maybe they'll hire him back into the fold. Or maybe he'll go and work in a healthier work environment where he can enjoy himself and not have a nervous breakdown as a result of
get
all the stress.
hospitalized. And,
I think that would be pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Well, that's This Week in Retro. Not that much. All right, so we're back from our station break or whatever the hell that was. And now it's time to talk about Twilight Princess and how that stacks up as a 20th anniversary celebration.
I couldn't imagine a better way to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Zelda.
Hear, hear.
Twilight Princess is a damn good game.
It's a love letter.
Yeah. Ray, do you still like Twilight Princess? You spent like 3 weeks doing nothing but playing Twilight Princess.
Practically a month playing that thing.
It's your whole life.
Technically twice, yeah. Well, we're wrapping it up now, so.
Do you still like it, though?
Yeah. I do.
With some despair.
I always felt that it was just kind of, it really was like Ocarina 2, but I like it better than I like Ocarina. So
I like it way better than I like Ocarina.
But it really is kind of Ocarina 2. But I have no problem with that because that is everyone's most loved Zelda. So if you're gonna,
it's much better.
So
and people were never going to shut up until Nintendo gave it to them.
And if you're going to try to improve on something, that's the hardest game to improve on, and they actually did it.
Right.
So bully to them.
It's a love letter, but it's also sort of a grudge fucking. It's like they're like, here, take your stupid gift. Here you go,
Chris.
But it's not just about Ocarina though. If you look at like some of the items you get in the beginning of the game, they draw these items from all Zelda games. There's like you get items from Zelda 3, items from Zelda 1. Like
Wind Waker did too. I thought.
Yeah,
you get enemy bait in Wind Waker.
Well, I mean, Zelda's been a very self-referential series for a very long time.
I wouldn't even call it self-referential so much as just it has these elements that it maintains consistently.
Right,
each
it's
sequel.
the norm.
Right.
I kind of feel like basically A Link to the Past laid down the ground rules, and every Zelda since then has basically been finding a new way to work around that framework.
Yep. Right. The fact that there is no consistent narrative, really, so it allows each game to be kind of like a meta remake of Zelda.
Well, yeah.
Right.
The thing is, it's called The Legend of Zelda, and legends are tales that are passed down through the ages. They change through oral tradition. They evolve over time, and Zelda's kind of that same way. Like, it's silly for people to try to come up with some sort of solid timeline for the series. I mean, you can make stuff up to make it work, but really, I just don't think that the series was ever intended to have a
I mean, ever since Zelda 2, when they attempted to give it a narrative, and like I've talked about this on some podcasts, but like if you actually read the story of Zelda 2, it's completely batshit insane. Like the Princess Zelda.
Well, there was another Zelda in the past.
The Princess Zelda in Zelda 2 is not the Zelda from Zelda 1 because she really wasn't Princess Zelda because every girl who got born to the royal temple was named Zelda after that. Anyway,
and then was that even in the Japanese version? Or
I don't
just
know.
Something
they might have made that shit up.
Made up. Like
no, it probably was
female.
because they had all the pictures in the instruction manual that told that same story.
So,
that's true. Although that might have been a totally different story. Like, here's the story of Prince Whippy. He loves whipping girls with his ghost. Floating behind him.
Somehow, I don't think so.
Prince Whippy,
lost legend.
But Twilight Princess, everything that's great about every Zelda is there, plus new things. It does evolve. It isn't just Ocarina all over again. I mean, there are so many
definitely
new
because
evolutions.
if it were just Ocarina all over again, I would not have enjoyed it very much.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it totally surpassed all my expectations. It was excellent in every way. And, you know, I said on the One Up show that I went into this game kind of with a chip on my shoulder because I liked Wind Waker so much. Not only the freedom and the openness, but also the visual style. And, you know, Twilight Princess kind of said, screw those. But it worked out to be a better game for it. Like, the vastness of Hyrule in this game is much more focused and much more interesting than the big empty ocean where you have
so much
something
more.
in each grid square, but that's
Yeah.
it. Like, everywhere I went, every time I went through, I was like, oh, there's something new.
Well, and I also liked Wind Waker a lot. And as interesting as it was and as fresh and different, it didn't quite, you know, to me, feel like a pure Zelda. It didn't, you know, evoke my memories of being a little kid.
I totally
I
disagree.
actually saw.
You disagree?
Yeah, I saw Wind Waker as being like the ultimate expression of the classic Zelda.
Yeah.
Like
No, it's-
the original Legend of Zelda, A Link to
Really?
the Past. You had those games. You had that same kind of.
I felt the nautical theme was just so heavy-handed and so different, and it really
was
gave it this
different,
unique
but-
flavor.
But the whole game, I don't know. The whole game really felt to me. I guess maybe it was because of the visuals. Like
Yeah.
The childlike
the natural
wonder.
evolution
Yeah.
of the little 8-year-old Link who played around on the NES. And I kind of saw the ending of that where you sail off to find a new Hyrule as like farewell, goodbye, traditional
Well,
Zelda.
I did feel like it
series.
was closing the book on.
Yeah, so
on
I was kind of
that.
surprised when Twilight Princess turned out to be, you know, Ocarina 2, because
Right.
I was like, wait, I thought Nintendo said goodbye to these. But I guess this was actually the farewell chapter, and now, you know, the next Wii Zelda will
Yeah.
be.
Well,
knows
because
what.
this is really
It stars Tingle.
this is the last. Well,
Awesome.
right. This is the final Zelda in the traditional style that we know it, though, because
For
any
now.
Zelda, any
Eventually
Zelda
they'll
that
make
follows
another
this-
one. They're like, remember when we did those?
Well, I
Here's
don't.
another
I
one.
don't necessarily mean
It'll be like the new Super Mario Brothers of Zelda. But yeah, for the
okay.
time
Yeah,
being,
sure.
For the
But-
time being, yeah,
right.
we've got like
just
well,
because the
Phantom
Wii
Hourglass.
controller is going
Right.
to change the hell out of the next Wii Zelda.
Yeah.
Which I don't necessarily agree with you that whatever Tingle game is coming up, you know, next year or whatever is the next Wii Zelda.
Let's hope. Yeah, let's hope it's not
Right.
traditional.
The Legend of
because Tingle for the DS is certainly not a Zelda game.
Hey, but Tingle was very absent in.
The problem is with a
And for
Tingle
good
game,
reason.
do you save the princess or are you the princess?
Aha.
It's a big mystery. Yeah, anyway.
You wish you were the princess.
So some other elements like bosses that come back. There's like the new version of Goma. I mean, like Goma's a boss from Zelda
Yeah.
1. You know, that's cool. It's a real old reference. There's some musical cues when you hear like the windmill music or you hear
Yeah.
like,
Right,
like,
or when you
Yeah.
when you have the Zelda flashback talking about what happened to Hyrule Castle, and you've got the Hyrule Castle theme, and then you
Right.
actually go to Hyrule Castle at the end of the game, and the music there is like this gloomy, depressing remix. You know, it's like haunted Hyrule Castle,
And what
that's totally hot.
They'll take those old melodies and they'll put them into the new tracks, but they're kind of low in the mix and they're not throughout the entire thing. So
so it's not hitting you over the head like, remember this? No, it's
Exactly.
more subtle, and if you get it, you get it. It's good.
And it could be just little little bits of those melodies that are kind of just inserted in.
Yeah,
It's really
I
cool.
was playing Link to the Past on the Japanese Virtual Console last week, and I kept.
You love bringing this up, don't you?
No, I kept
like
coming-
when I was using my
It's been a while-
Japanese Virtual Console.
Shut up, Chris. It's been a while since I've actually played A Link to the Past, so I was going back through, and I kept hearing all these musical bits, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. This was in Twilight Princess. So it was kind of nice just to revisit and refresh my memory about these things. And damn it, Nintendo, why can't we download A Link to the Past right now? But anyway, we bitched about
And
that.
how much will
last
they
week.
charge? That's the question. It's a premium price item in Japan. Yeah, let's not get into that.
Yeah. But no, I don't know. Personally, I'm not sure that Zelda Twilight Princess is as good a 20th anniversary celebration as Portrait of Ruin.
Really?
personally. I don't think there's as much of the crazy fan service.
I think you're right.
Which
I think you're right.
kind of liked. I mean, it's definitely a much better game than Portrait of Ruin. Objectively, I can say
Well,
that.
the reason I
but-
think it's a better 20th anniversary because for me, Twilight Princess in 2006 is everything to me personally that Legend of Zelda was for me 20 years ago. Whereas Portrait of Ruin on my DS, as much as I love it, it's not quite the same thing.
That's true. That's true. I was not
It's just
cursing
the
at the game like I did with
gravity,
the original
like the
Castlevania.
gravity isn't there, like the importance isn't quite there.
This is
It's a little more disposable.
Zelda was never really that important to me back in the day.
Oh,
I was more of a Mario person, but Twilight Princess is some of the most fun I've had with a video game in the last couple of years.
Well, if you want to hear my most embarrassing Zelda story, I mean, I was a little kid. I was 10 years old or 11 years old when I beat 10 when I beat Zelda. And I remember when I beat The Legend of Zelda for NES. It was such a milestone for me. It was like this, it was the biggest game ever. I remember like after beating it, just that night, like thinking about how cool it was. I was like looking up at the stars, like thinking about Zelda, how it like changed my life. I still remember that. Like how dumb was I as a little kid? Like,
No, that's awesome.
Zelda like changed my life.
Zelda was totally kicked my ass when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
I was, older than you, so I was like 14 or 15 when
But I have the idea that like right now, if like a 12-year-old plays Twilight Princess, maybe never they played Zelda, it could change their life. Whereas is Portrait of Ruin going to change their life? Probably not. It's good.
Yeah.
No,
It's
unless
not-
it
it's
makes
not
you
changed-
decide you don't like Castlevania.
It's
that
not
much.
changing any lives, but I think that Zelda still has that power. It's still such a quality product.
No, it does. Okay, yeah. In that sense, I mean, you play Twilight Princess and you're like, yeah, this is what video games can do.
Right.
This is their potential.
And the fact that like it hasn't diminished after 20 years. It's still special. Like how hard is it to keep something special for 20 years? A product.
Yeah, I feel
product
a
you're making
little
and selling?
disappointed that I had to do like a week-long blitz of Zelda to get through it, because I wish I could have played it like the original Zelda, where I got to play a few hours a day, and I would stop and think about it. I'd be at school thinking about the original Zelda. I'd be talking to my friends on the
like
playground.
13-year-old. If 13-year-old T-Frog could be here and he could get this game for Christmas, and it's a whole world. It's your whole life. For like a month. Well,
I don't know if it's my whole life, but
yeah, it was Ray's whole life.
Yeah, I don't think that was so much a celebration of youth, though.
That was more.
I think that's just, hi, I work for My Cheat.
Yeah.
I'm doing a super guide. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. A lot of good weekends though.
But my other question is, how are they going to top this? I'm a little worried. I think the next game will be like some Tingle weirdness.
I don't think it'll be Tingle weirdness, but I think they just need to do something different. And
well, we already have Phantom Hourglass is already something.
Yeah,
different.
well, that's what I was trying to say when Chris talked over me.
Oh,
yeah, Phantom Hourglass. You've got kind of like a traditional Zelda top-down game, but it controls differently, and I'm sure it's going to play differently as a result.
right.
I don't know how that'll translate.
You played it, right?
Yeah.
I played it too. And
and it feels a lot like A Link to the Past to me, or Link's Awakening. But at the same time, like, everything's a little bit different, because when you're playing, you have to think about how the limited interface, the stylus-driven interface, how that changes your interaction with enemies and stuff. So the enemies that you face are, they're different. They're not like you face them head on and slash them with swords. I mean, some of them you do, but there's trickier enemies as a result. So I think it's going to have a really strong mental puzzle element, even to the combat, which hasn't really been the case with any of the Zeldas so far.
In my understanding, they're going back and really retooling, though. I mean, I don't know if what that means.
Yeah, it got pushed back a bit.
It got pushed back like a year, basically. It was supposed to come out this holiday season, and it's probably not going to come out until next holiday season.
After the delays to Twilight Princess made it turn out so right. I'm okay with delays.
Yeah, as I said, I love delays now.
But again, the gameplay could just
Victor Island
totally
is
change.
so right. You're so right. Mediocrity is forever.
I like how you only quoted the last part of that.
It's too much trouble to say the whole thing.
What was I going to say? Zelda, Twilight Princess. I think at this point, they shouldn't be concerned with topping it. They should be concerned with doing the same thing with Mario and the same thing with Metroid that they just did with Zelda.
Maybe. I think maybe what would be good for them to do now is to give Zelda to Intelligent Systems, so they can do something completely wacky and off the wall, like Super Paper Mario. Like Super Paper Zelda. What would that be? I don't know, but I bet it would be awesome.
That's a really clever
I haven't
idea.
actually played Super Paper Mario, but just looking at it, you can tell it's going to be totally different and totally weird and totally great.
We also shouldn't discount the possibility that maybe EAD has already been working on a Wii Zelda, because remember the decision was made very late in the dev cycle, and when I talked to Aonuma in like 2005 when they were showing it for GameCube and it was going to be out that Christmas, he was like, "Oh yeah, we're thinking about how we're going to do Zelda on the Wii, That's the next challenge." And so they could have...
No, I'm sure it's been in the works, and I'm sure it's going to be something other than a collection of mini games.
Oh, yeah.
They've already done WarioWare, so
Or you have to wonder, like, maybe Mr. Aonuma, he's trying to get out of doing Zelda. After Wind Waker, he tried to quit. Miyamoto wouldn't let him. Maybe let him
he's
take...
in the family for life.
Yeah. Maybe let him take another Nintendo IP that's, like, languishing, either be, who knows, Kid Icarus, Star Tropics...
Star Fox.
Star Fox.
Star Fox needs a lot of...
Is it languishing? There's a new title, like, every year.
Yeah, but it's dead.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, like, a franchise they dropped. Like,
Star Tropics? Sure, why not?
Why not?
We could stand a good Star Tropics game. There hasn't been one of those yet.
Yeah, let him make it. Who knows?
Right. Well, he's not really... He's more doing the Miyamoto job these days. So
he's
producing
the ideas, man.
series.
He walks around and looks over people's shoulders and says...
overturns tables.
Yeah, basically. Lots of table overturning.
Very Jesus in the Tabernacle kind of thing.
Yeah, that thing.
Right.
Yep.
So our conclusion here, let's put it to a vote. Which is the better 20th anniversary celebration?
I vote Zelda.
I was going to go around the table and
I went
all
first.
orderly. All right, Shane, Mr.
Zelda.
Zelda.
Though I still love
Why?
Castlevania.
Why is it better than Castlevania?
Because it's still as relevant and as important and life-changing, whereas Castlevania is not.
Okay. Chris?
Zelda, for the reasons that Shane mentioned.